And we are live. Okay, I have been looking forward to this moment. I'm here to talk to all the private practice peeps. We're going to talk about if I was to start my private practice over from scratch, what would I do to get my practice to full capacity in 90 days? Okay, and as we go through this, you can let me know if it's working. If it's working, it's going to be so fun. Okay. So say hi in the chat, say hi in the comments. I'm super pumped that you are here. Let me go ahead and get us started. I want to make sure that we are good. And we are. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so, why am I coming on here? One of the reasons I'm coming on here is because 2025, in my books, is the year of the physician. Okay. It is a year where, irrespective of what is going on, we are going to experience five freedoms. Every physician has access to five freedoms. You'll let me know in the chat if you want them. The first freedom is the freedom to practice medicine on your terms. The second freedom is to live life on your terms. The third freedom is time freedom. You get to use your time as you want to. The fourth is financial freedom. And the fifth is the freedom to pursue your purpose. Okay. So I'm a pediatrician by training. And one of the things I think is my purpose is to serve the physician community, especially in these strange times we find ourselves in. We did not get a business education, but in the healthcare space is not an economic sport. And so what I do is I help doctors build profitable businesses so they have the freedom to live life and practice medicine on their terms. Okay. So that's what I have freedom. I have freedom of purpose. So let me know if you want these five freedoms. Okay. Let me know in the chat. If you want it, type in the chat. I want it. Okay. I want it. Okay. Now, let me put this here. Okay, so here's the deal, right? If we look at the current state of private practice, one of the things that has really been a driver for me in my company in EntreMD is this whole concept of, the amount of challenges that we're seeing in private practice. So during COVID 2021, I saw the data that 11,000 private practices either went out of business or sold out to private equity. 11,000. I want you to think about a room of 1,000 people, and there are 11 of those rooms just filled with private practice owners who either sold their businesses, who either shut down their businesses or sold to private equity. It is a ridiculous number. And when I go into Facebook groups, it's not unusual for me to see every single day someone saying, "Okay, I'm done. I'm shutting down my practice. I'm done with it." Okay. And a lot of times, the challenges that people are facing are challenges around cash flow. There are very few practices. I have never heard of it, but I'm sure there are. There are very few practices that will have challenges with clinical care, and that's why they shut down. Most of the time, they're shutting down because a lot of them is cash flow problems, right? Private practice is it's an economic sport. Okay, it's an economic sport. And so the thing that I would love for us to do today, one of the things I'd love for us to do is to make a decision. You're a private practice owner, you decide you're going to thrive. It starts from a decision. Okay. So if that's you, I want you to type in the chat, I am in the comments, I am going to thrive. It starts from a decision. I remember when COVID first happened, many people are closing their doors and we didn't know what to think of it and all of that stuff. And I said, you know what? I don't know what this COVID thing is. I don't know how it's going to play out. Nobody knew it would be a pandemic. You know what I mean? Like, and I was like, I don't know what this is, but I know that I'm going to thrive. It started from a decision. And then after I made the decision, I'm like, okay, how are we going to do that? Right. And so that's it. That's where it starts from. It starts from a decision. And the things that I'm going to show you today, they work. I've been in private practice. If we haven't met before, my name is Dr. Una. I am a pediatrician by training. My very first business was a private practice. I still have the practice. We're going to be 15 years old this year. So I've been doing that for a decade and a half. I was able to build the private practice to the point where it could run without me. And I've been out of the building for 3 years. The last time I set foot in the building was 3 years ago, and it's still running and it's still very successful. And that was my first business. At this point, I think I can call myself a serial entrepreneur, if you will. And so these principles I'm about to show you, they work. they've worked for me. Over the years, I've had the pleasure of coaching thousands of physicians, whether that is through the workshops that I do, or whether that's in the EntreMD Business School or the Profitable Private Practice Movement, which we'll talk about later. Like whichever way I do that through, we've been able to help a lot of doctors. We've been able to help doctors go from employed physician to running multi seven-figure practices in 3 years, in 4 years, right? And all of these things and everything in between. So the principles that I'm going to show you, they work. The question is, are you going to work them? The question is, are you willing to do something different? That's what the question is. Okay. All right. So if you're willing, you're like, I'm going to make this work. Let me know in the chat. I'm going to make this work. I'm going to make this work. Okay. All right. So most people are not going to do what we talk about today. Okay. Don't let that be you. Most people are not going to do it. You'll be tempted the entire time I do this, like, oh, it shouldn't take that much, or oh, I'm not going to do that, or oh, I'm not the kind of person who does that, or oh, I'm a physician, I don't do that. When you have a private practice, if you want to thrive as a private practice owner, one of the things you're going to do is you're going to be a great clinician. But the other thing you're going to do is you're going to be a savvy entrepreneur. You're going to be both. You're going to be both. To thrive in private practice, you cannot be a great clinician only. It's not enough. It wasn't enough back in the day, but we could get away with it because we had somewhat of a monopoly, or, like there was not as much competition. But I want you to think about it. Like, I graduated from residency 16 years ago, now almost 17 years ago. And when I graduated, there were barely any urgent cares. There were barely any after hours clinics. There was nothing like a CVS Minute Clinic. There was no Walmart having a clinic. There was none of that. There was no Amazon in the healthcare space. Like it was a different healthcare space. Now there is competition. And if you will win, you will compete, right? You will compete. So you'll be tempted to say, oh, it doesn't take all that. I don't have to do that. I'm going to do good medicine and the money will follow. No, I'm going to do good medicine. Everything will be okay. No, if you do get good medicine, your patients will be okay. But for you to have a practice that is okay, you're going to have to do good business. Okay. Okay. So there are many things to talk about: filling your schedule, getting paid for the work that you do, understanding the billing cycle, your revenue monitoring cycle, and how to unleash the power of your team, all of those things. But today, what we're going to talk about is how to fill your schedule. Okay, that's the starting point, right? Like, how am I going to fill up my schedule? You've had holes in your schedule, you want to see more patients, all of that stuff. How am I going to do that? Okay, that's what we're going to talk about today. And we're going to talk about it from this context, right? Like, so I've had a private practice for 15 years, and I have a lot of experience with my private practice, with coaching others. If I was going to take a new practice, like I am the primary doctor, and I'm going to take a new practice and I'm going to see patients, what am I going to do to fill my schedule up in 90 days? So I want you to think about it. I don't know, 90 days, we're talking about all of March, all of May, April, all of May. So talk June 1st, like full to capacity. I want you to think about that. Like, how would I do that? Okay. Now, let's start from the beginning. And if you don't like what I say, just say ouch. But ouch means ouch, but I'm going to do it. Okay. Okay. So the very first thing I would do is I will build a database. I will build a base of 12 active referral sources. That is the very first thing I'll do. Now, when I started my practice, if you asked me then, that wouldn't even be number 10, because I'm an introvert, because I was super shy, because I was socially awkward, and all of those things. I would not have mentioned that at all. But this is the deal. If you want to take you from 0 to 60, if you want to take you from 0 to full schedule in 90 days, this is the very first thing I'll focus on. Okay. So this, for many people, this will be the scariest thing to do. And you'll come up with all kinds of excuses. Well, I don't know how to get past the front desk person, but all the people, they only refer to the hospitals. And we would have all these excuses. How do I know? Because I had them all. I had them all. But if you want to take your practice 0 to 60, like, let's do some math here. Okay. Let's do some math here. Let's say that you consider an active referral somebody who will send you 5 patients a month. Okay, 5 patients a month. Let's say that. Now, this is not an impossible number. I have clients who have referral sources who are sending them 5 patients a day, right? So it can be a whole lot of people. So let's just say 5. Okay, so you have one referral source who sends you 5 patients a month, And if you multiply that by 12 months, that is 60 patients a month. I want you to think about it. Okay. So one person is sending you 60 patients a year. That's what the person is doing. Okay. Now, what that means is over the course of a year, if you had 12 referral sources, they will send you 720 patients a year. 720. So let me know in the chat, how many of you will be okay with 720 new patients from referral sources, not from any other method of marketing, just from referral sources? How many of you will be like, I will be just okay with that, Dr. Una? I will be just okay. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. I will be just okay with 720 new patients. Now, sometimes we think about doing something like going for referral sources. I'm like, oh my goodness. But don't think about the work to do it. Think about the return on investment. If I can get 720 new patients in a year, then oh my goodness, of course I'm gonna get a database of 12. It's worth it. It's worth it. And the reason why I put it as number one, I could have put ads, I could have put social media, I could have put all of these things. Your referral base is one of the things that can grow your practice the fastest. Okay. Okay. So let me give you a few stories here, okay? When I started my private practice, there was an OBGYN. I'm a pediatrician. There was an OBGYN who was by me. Now remember, socially awkward introvert. So I was not working this process the way I'm telling you to do it. Like now, this was 15 years ago. And I remember meeting up with this person. And she's like, oh my goodness, it's so nice to meet you. And we built this know, like, and trust thing, right? After that meeting with her, 70% of all our referrals came from this one person. One person. Okay. One person. Okay. Now, I had another doc. I worked with her for maybe a 6-month period as a locum doc. And this was in the first 6 months of her practice. So in the first months of her practice, she needed to hire somebody else. And I was going there 2 to 3 days a week. So I wondered, I was like, okay, how is this possible? Your practice is only 6 months old and you're bursting at the seams. Like, because she was seeing patients 5 days a week and I was seeing patients 2 to 3 days a week and we couldn't keep up. So I start digging and I find out that she has 3 friends. So she's a pediatrician. Obviously, I was working with her. She had 3 friends who were referring patients to her. They were OBGYNs. That's it. And because think about it, the OBGYN has all her patients. They were just like, oh yeah, go to her, go to her, go to her. In 6 months, she needed to hire. If you would like that problem, say, I would like to have that type of problem. In 6 months, she needed to hire. Okay. Now, we had another doctor. This was a doctor who was in the EntreMD Business School, and she went after a referral base. And I like to tell her story because she went after this referral base for 11 months. I want to show you, like, even if it takes time to acquire this relationship. Now, don't get me wrong, she had other referral sources who were referring to her, but she was still working this because to her, she looked and she said, they have 19 different clinicians who could refer to me. So she was like, it is worth it to do the work. So she starts going after them. It takes her 11 months. At the end of 11 months, they bring her in and have one meet and greet with her. They're all like, oh my goodness, we absolutely love you. And we're going to refer all our patients to you. And then she found out they didn't have 19 clinicians, like physicians and nurse practitioners and PAs. They had 42. They had 42 people in one clinic that could refer to her. After that, she went from that to getting 5 to 7 referrals a day from one referral source, right? So if I was starting over and I wanted to go from zero to full panel in 90 days, one of the first things that I would do is I will build a base of 12 active referral sources, meaning they are sending me 12 patients, they're sending me 5 patients or more a month. I will build the relationships with them. I will grow the know, like, and trust factor. I will follow up with them. I will stay in contact. I will thank them for the referrals they send me. I will do all of that until I get to 12. I would do that. I would prioritize that. I would prioritize that over cute graphics on Canva, tweaking my website, making my third business plan, planning. I would prioritize that over everything. I would build a referral base. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of a pointer before we go to the next thing. And this is when we think referral sources, usually we're very narrow minded about it. Like, so I'm a pediatrician, so OBGYNs. But I want you to expand that, right? It's not about other doctors, it's about who has my people, the people I want to serve, who has them. So I'm a pediatrician. It might be OBGYNs. It might be family medicine doctors. It might be daycare centers. It might be schools. It might be sports organizations, right? It might be associations of mothers. It might be professional women's networks. It could be my friends that have access to a lot of other parents. It could be anybody who has my people. If you're direct primary care, I want you to think like, like who are ideal? Other people who pay for healthcare services. Because some people are just like, I have insurance. I'm not paying for anything you have to give me, right? Leave them alone. Let them pay for their insurance. Let it go. There's enough for everybody, right? So where the people who pay are the people who value their time over money, which means they will give money in exchange for their time, right? Like if I had a doc who would, actually I have a doc like that. She's amazing. But like I wouldn't want a doc that I have access to. If I need to get an appointment, I can go in and all of those kind of things, right? Do you guys see what I'm saying? So is who has my people. It's not about a specific specialty or whatever. Expand it, okay? If you will do this, most people won't, but there's a reason why on a Monday evening, even though you just heard about this live, there's a reason you're here. And since you're here, I believe you're the person who's going to do it. So in the chat, if you're going to do it, let me know. I'm going to do it. Type it in the chat. I'm going to do it. 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 Let me know in the chat. Okay? If we get this one right, so many other things just become right. They just do. They just do. Let me know. Okay. If you like what's happening here, like the video. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. I want to see private practices thrive. When they say doctors are not good entrepreneurs, you're like, that was back in the day, not today. 2025 is the year of the physician. Okay. The second thing we're going to talk about, again, if you're an introvert, if you're an introvert and you'd rather be at home reading a book and, all of those things, just let me know. I'm your cousin in the chat. Okay. I feel you, but we can win. Okay. Introvert or not, we can win. Okay. Second thing is strategic networking. Strategic networking. So the introverts are like, oh my goodness. First of all, you talk about referrals. Now you're talking about networking. Dr. Una, what is wrong with you? But remember, knowing what I now know, if I'm starting over, first thing I'll do is build that referral base to 12. Second thing I'll do is strategic networking in the community. And this is with potential patients and this is with potential referral sources, right? So again, introvert, I used to be the person who, first of all, I would not go for any community events because I don't want anybody to know me. I don't want anybody to know where I am. I don't want to have conversations. Like I don't want to do any of that, right? Okay, but this is the deal though, right? For people to refer to you, tell other people about you, and all of these things, they got to know you. They got to know you. So if you want to have this practice where you're a household name, everyone is referring to you, patients are finding you, no, like word of mouth is going like crazy, and all of those things, one of the best things you can do is make everybody's job easy by being seen. By being seen, right? Okay. So if I was starting over, I would network. So these are the questions you want to ask. Where do my potential patients gather? Where do my potential referral sources gather? Wherever they gather, I will be there. I will be there. So I'm a pediatrician. You have an OBGYN who's doing an open house. Guess who will be there? Yours truly, right? There's some big, events that, parents are going to be at and all of those things. And they're in that state of mind. I'm going to be there, right? There's a place where doctors gather, like the hospital lounge and places like that. I will be there. I will stop by there. I will be there. Right? Why? Because when you see somebody on a website, like a static picture on the website, you're just like, okay, cool. When you get to talk to somebody, the know like and trust factor is just different. It's different when people meet, like, oh yeah, I know Dr. Una. They don't really know me. They just met me. Right? Like, but it's that like I know her, blah, 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 da da da. I met her, she's really nice, da da da. Send all the babies to her. Send all the babies to her. So whether it's a hospital lounge, it's open houses, events, and even online as well. Like, so for instance, one of our clients in the entrepreneur business school, she when she started her practice, she joined a local moms group, right? She's an allergist. She joined a local group, actually, a mom's group, and also a group where they talked about like a certain allergy condition and stuff like that. And she went there and she would just answer questions and all of that. And then it wasn't long after that that she became the preferred, physician for all things allergy. And it blew up her practice in the best way possible. What was she doing? She was networking where her people are. She was networking, right? So if you embrace networking, it will blow your mind what will happen to your practice. Okay? For people to really, really refer to you, like you, trust you, do word of mouth, all of those things, both patients, referral sources. One of the things you want to do is you want to network strategically. Where are my people, both potential patients and potential referral sources? And I just go live there. I just go live there. And even in communities, like one of the things I say in the Entrepreneur Business School, right, is, when people come in, I want you to think this is a community of over 100 physician entrepreneurs who have decided to dare their fears and build their dream businesses and their dream lives, right? And they prioritize collaboration over competition. They're always looking for how to open doors for each other, to create connections for each other, and all of those things. All right. So when they come into the community, I'm like, listen, when you got into this community, your value, your net worth just went through the roof just by being in the room. I said, the worst thing that you can do when you come here is hide. And I'm an introvert. I get it. But the worst thing you can do when you come here is hide. When you come here, you need to show up. Favor, you might need to type this in the chat. Favor needs to be seen to be shown. People need to see you. People need to know what you do so they can refer other people to you and stuff like that. That's the way it works, right? So, for instance, we have people in the same community. You have one person who works in the ED, and you have one person who has a surgical practice. You have one other person who has a GI practice, right? And they happen to be in the same city. They're all in the school and they happen to be in the same city. What do you think happens? Oh, I need blah, 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 and I'm going to need a colonoscopy. I know the perfect doctor for you. I'm going to need to XYZ. I know the perfect doctor for you. I know the perfect doctor for you. Why? Because they're networking in community, right? They're networking in community. So you may be, now if you're an extrovert, right? Of course, you may be more comfortable with it, but you just have to understand the strategic nature of it, right? You want to show it in the right place. So where am I networking strategically? In the places where my potential patients and my potential referral sources are gathered. These are places that we can no longer ignore. Okay. You want to build a private practice that thrives in 2025. You cannot ignore these. You cannot ignore these two things that we've talked about. Okay. All right. So if you're going to do it, let me know in the chat. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. We're making good progress. We have two here. We have two here. Number 3, I want to say ahead of time, you may not like it, but it's good for you. You may not like it, but it's good for you. Okay. So number 3, if I was going to start over and I wanted to build my practice to full capacity, I wanted to do that in 90 days. This is what I would do. I will launch a YouTube channel. I will launch a YouTube channel. I'm going to say it a number of times. I will launch a YouTube channel. I will show up on that YouTube channel 1 to 2 times every single week. I will launch a YouTube channel. Okay. Now, before you sign off, before you're like, you know what? I knew Dr. Una, she was going to tell me all this stuff. First of all, referrals. Then after that, networking. Now, YouTube channel, Dr. Una, what in the world? I'm here for you. I want you to win. Okay. I want you to win. And if I was starting over, this is what I would do. Now, why? Okay. Let's backtrack. Now, when I talk about YouTube channel, I don't want you to think about something complicated. I'm not talking about anything complicated. To start with, most physicians will not do a YouTube channel. Most physicians will not. Now, I want to give a big shout. I think I saw Dr. Akudo here. Big shout to Dr. Akudo because she just launched she launched a YouTube channel and has been posting there consistently. So, big shout out to you. I saw it. I noticed things, right? Okay. So I wouldn't make it complicated because the bar to entry is so low and it will separate you so much because most physicians will not do it. Most private practice owners will not do it. Most of them will not touch a YouTube channel with a 10-foot pole. But this is the deal. If you touch the YouTube channel, you become the expert because the speaker is always the expert, whether the speaker knows what they're saying or not. The speaker is always the expert, whether they know what they're saying or not. I have to say this, but the speaker is always the expert. And so if you create this vacuum where in your community, you're not showing up to network, you're not showing up to, you're not showing up to referral sources, you're not showing up and building a brand that people can follow, it is so easy to make you disappear. This is 2025, and real practices go out of business every single day. Real practices get to millions of dollars in revenue and have no profit because they refuse to build businesses. They just want to own their jobs. So please let me know in the chat you're going to do it. I'm going to show you it's simple. I'll show you it's simple. It's so simple. Okay? All right. So what is my non-complicated, super simple YouTube strategy? Please hear me. Please hear me when I say this. Okay. This phone, right? The phone. You're going to answer the questions you answer anyway in the office all day, every day, but with your camera on. Okay. You know those things you come out of a room and you're like, if I have to answer this question one more time, I'm going to lose it. Record that. Just answer the question with the camera on. Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Una. Question I get asked all the time is my kid's poop is green. Is that normal? But here's the deal. Let me tell you what we doctors look at when we look at poop. Is it red? Is it black? Is it white? If it's none of these three colors, we don't really worry about it. It could be what your kid ate. It could be how fast it came out. Da 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 da. So don't worry about it. But of course, I'm a doctor. But you're on YouTube. I'm not your doctor. Okay. So if you have any questions about your kid's poop, you want to confirm with your pediatrician. If you are in the Lawrenceville area, you're looking for a pediatrician, I'm the one. Okay. You can go here to book an appointment. Can't wait to see you in the office. The end. The video is done. That's the video. If you're like, I can't do videos, that's it. Boom. Upload it to YouTube. Done. You can get fancy and put thumbnails and do all of that stuff, but this is the barrier to entry for physicians is so low because most physicians will not do it. But let me tell you what doing a YouTube channel does for you. Okay? Let me give you a number thing because I recommend in my mind every private practice owner should have a YouTube channel. That's just the way I think about it. Okay? Now when I had a practice, I didn't know anything about anything. Okay. I didn't know anything about anything. But I had this sensing. I was like, nobody wants to do videos. If you did videos, it will set you apart. And I said, wait, like my face on the World Wide Web? No. We're not going to do that. I think between the first time I thought about video and when I actually did it was 2 years. I was like, nope, not going to do it. Okay. So finally, I decided, and it's a story for a different day, but I decided, okay, good. I'm going to do videos, and I was going to do Facebook lives. I didn't know any. I don't think I really knew about YouTube in that way. So I did it every Thursday, 1:30. So it's my lunch break. And oh my goodness, like again, super shy, socially awkward, introvert, did not want to be on the World Wide Web. Like, of course I didn't. I'm an introvert. And so I talked in monotones. I mean, it was just crazy. So what would I do? I get my the boxes, that the nebulizers come in. I just stack that in front of me, put my phone on top of it. It's leaning against my computer. And I'm like, okay, where am I gonna get the energy for this? I put up YouTube, I played this video like because I'm happy, right? So I play that and I'm dancing, I'm doing all of those things. Then I hit the button to go live, and then I start talking. Hi everyone, it's Dr. Una, blah, 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 blah. I have, have sticky notes with smile written on it. That's on the corners of my computer because I'd forget to smile. I'm like, rah, 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 like that, right? And I started doing that. But imperfect as it was, this is what started happening. One is that my patients started showing up at 1:30, them and their kids. They're like, ooh, Dr. Una's on, Dr. Una's on. It gave them an opportunity to share their doctor with other people because you're saying refer, refer, refer. But hello, this they can share a link. They're happy to brag. Look at my doctor. We were talking about this the other day. Look at what my doctor said about it, right? So they started sharing. And then people, I didn't know this because I was experimenting. Then people would start coming in. So I would have people say, I'm like, how did you find out about us? I'm asking new patients. They're like, oh yeah, I saw you on the Legacy Parent Show. That's what I called my weekly show. I was like on the Legacy Parent Show, and it was obvious that you were the pediatrician for my kid. It was so good that when I stopped, when I started slowing down my clinical time, I had to stop the show. Like I had to stop it because people are like, no, the one on the one on Facebook Live, that's the one that's the one I want to see. Right? I had to stop it. That's how well it worked. Guys, like you want to thrive in an exceptional way. You want to thrive and end up getting more done in less time. You gotta embrace this. Okay. But beyond that, I want to give you some reasons real quick because like yes, the YouTube channel will work wonders for your patient volume, but it's beyond that. Okay. So what happens when you commit to doing YouTube videos? One is that you master speaking. People say to me all the time, "You're a natural speaker." I'm like, if I could roll on the floor and laugh, I'm not a natural speaker. I've just done a lot of it. Right? Like I have over 460 podcast episodes. I have hundreds, like thousands of YouTube videos. I've shown up live almost every day for the last 5 years. I have a lot of mileage. And so it seems that way, but there's nothing natural about it. So if you will embrace this, you too can become a natural speaker. Like you're just a natural. Okay? Okay. It will streamline your operations if you embrace this. Why? The questions they ask you all the time, every single one can be a YouTube video. And now you can create resources in your practice. When people call and ask certain things, you're like, boom, here's a link. You get a link, you get a link, everybody gets a link, right? So you can streamline your operations because you can make evergreen content that answers these things. It can help your website rank better. If you have like like a portion where you can put you can embed your YouTube videos, then you're feeding it fresh content. Google loves that, right? It loves that. That could be what you do. It will help you attract patients. We've already talked about that. It will help you become more shareable. Now your people have stuff to share. You're not only telling them, oh, refer to us, but all the questions they get together and ask amongst themselves, now you've given them content to answer that, right? And then the other reason, and this is my favorite reason why you want to show up on camera, is the unknown. You do not know. I have had really amazing speaking opportunities that only showed up because they're like, oh, we see you on camera, would you come speak here on what you were talking about on that video? We have had people who have had the same thing that I talked about. We had a doctor that was recently offered an assistant professor position in a medical school based on her YouTube channel. They're like, we saw your YouTube channel, all of these things. We want you to come. Like, she's not even in the system at all. Why did that happen? We have people who got medical advice opportunities to be on medical boards, medical advisory positions. The beautiful thing about building your brand out there is, yes, it will do all the things that it does, but it also do things that you can never plan for. Never. But it will rock your world in the best possible way. Okay. So let me know in the chat who's gonna do it. Who's going to do it? And when you think about YouTube, don't think about YouTube. Okay? Just think about the questions you're a physician. All you do all day is answer questions. All you do all day. Patient one comes in, question. Patient two, three questions. Patient three, five questions. Then at 4:30, right before you leave, you get the patient that has seven questions. Right? Every patient encounter is a video. Everyone. The important thing is just getting out of your, like, you have this thing of, I can't do YouTube, right? This statement has too much finality to it. Just go like, how could I do it? Right? If you allow yourself that space, how could I do it? Everything changes for you. Everything changes. But oh my goodness, will I launch you? And I will launch a YouTube channel and I will show up like you can show up 1 to 2. I will show up 2 to 3 times a week. And I won't talk about the things I want to talk about. I'm not talking about the things that fascinate me. I'm talking about the things that fascinate my patients and their friends so they can bring them to my practice too. What do they want to know? What questions do they want to ask? I don't know. Ask them. If I was going to do a YouTube channel and I did this episode and you really loved it and you shared it to all your friends, what episode would that be? They'll tell you everything. I just did a live earlier on a different YouTube channel that I have, and like I was like, oh man, what am I going to talk about? This was 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was like, what am I going to talk about? I was like, oh wait. So I got on a call with my people. I said, hey, if you could sit with me if you could sit with me, for coffee and we could only talk for 15 minutes, what would you want us to talk about? Boom. The answers start coming in. What do you think I do? I have my team put it together and boom, those are just topics. I just go through one after the other. I don't have to look for topics. They'll give me everything. They'll give me everything. Okay. All right. So that is number 3. So referrals, strategic networking, I will launch a YouTube channel. Okay. Let me know in the chat how you think I'm doing. Like if I did these 3 things, what is the likelihood that I'll fill my schedule in 90 days? Okay. So we still have 2 more things to go. Now, before we do that, I'm sure you're probably feeling like, okay, but this is a lot. I don't know where to start with this. I've tried to start this thing. I didn't stay motivated. I didn't complete it and all this stuff. So because of that, real quick, I'm going to tell you about an opportunity that you have. Okay. Now, in 2024, right before the end of the year, so about December, actually in December, the team and I, we sat through, we're like, okay, what can we do to support private practice owners at a large scale? Like, right? Like, and help them, like, irrespective, they can come in and they have this time where they come, they work on their practices, they get the quote unquote difficult things done so they can move their private practices forward. What can we do so we put them in a position where they're profitable, whether they're startups or they're at 3 million, because we've seen them all struggle, right? Like, what can we do to do that? We know so much about the business of private practice. How can we support them? And that is what made us launch what we call the profitable private practice movement. And I see some of the people in the movement here. And so if you want to give a shot, if it's been a gift to you at all, maybe you can talk about it right there. But we launched the movement. And what is the movement about? It is very simple. It is so simple. It is to help you build profitable private practices that allow you to have a lot of impact, time freedom, and financial freedom. That's what we want. It's as simple as that. And when we come in, we're not working on everything. We're not doing that. We're working on 5 specific things. Number 1, how can you get your schedule full? Number 2, how can you be paid for the work you do? Number 3, how can you unlock your team so they can join you to create profits? Number 5, how can you monitor your revenue cycle so you understand what exactly is happening with the money in your practice? Number 5, how do you convert the profits in your practice to wealth? How do you put it in wealth engines, right? So it's just these 5 things. But we know if you master these 5 things, you will have a practice that's profitable. If you want to then master other things, you can come to business school and stuff like that, and we can work on that, right? Okay. And we did it in such a way that even the execution of it is very simple. Every Thursday, you come and you sit down and you just work on your business for an hour. You work on your business in community with other, physicians who own private practices and move your businesses forward. Yet last week they celebrated so many wins that blew my mind. One doctor was like, "Oh my goodness, for the first time in a long time, we sent out claims of $44,000 in less than 2 weeks." Someone else said, I went to go talk to 3 referral sources. They've already sent me 2 new patients this week. Someone else said, like, now I have my PA schedule. My schedule is full. My PA is now up to capacity, so we can see a lot more patients and bring in a lot more revenue, right? It's been so amazing. So Dr. Kudo says it's been amazing. Dr. Rondo said PPPM is awesome. And this is the deal. There's no contract. It's month to month. If you want, you can do, of course, you can do the pay in full. There are bonuses for that. And it is $197 a month. It is less than a cappuccino a day. Like, literally, I have friends who are concerned about me, who pull me aside and say, "Dr. Una, you cannot possibly offer this for $197. This is ridiculous. Like, what are you doing?" And recently, when was that? Thursday or Friday? I had someone else reach out and say, "Dr. Una, we need to talk about this." But the reason why I'm doing it is because I want private practice owners to win. The end. Okay. So Dr. Amaka said it's a no brainer. Just do it. And it really is a no brainer. Like at 197 a month, like really, like you're getting more value. Like if I charge you 197 for what we're doing tonight, you'd pay for it happily because you're going to get a huge return on your investment from this, right? Okay. So entremd.com/movement. I want to challenge you to join the movement. I want to challenge you to invite the private practice owners in your world. Just send them the link. Say, listen, don't say I haven't done anything good for you in your life. In 2025, this is one tool you have to have in your toolbox. The end. The profitable private practice movement. Okay. Okay. So entremd.com/movement. Oh, look, let me see if I can be fancy. Slash movement. And I thought I could be fancy. I don't. Oh, look. Oh man, look at that. Dr. Una doing big things. Okay. Right? So you can join the movement. Okay, like I said, it is a no-brainer offer. This is a called we're not going to have a conversation offer. Just sign up for it. Okay? And if you're like, I'm not sure, do month to month, do $197. I've already given you more than $197 value anyway. So you're not going to lose anything. Okay? Even if you get there and there's nothing. But there's a whole lot of something. Okay. All right. So I have given you three things I would do if I was going to take my practice from 0 to 9 to full capacity in 90 days. Okay. So number one, I would go after 12 active referral sources. I'll build a base of them. Number two, I would engage in strategic networking, like big time, at least monthly. Okay. Number three, I would launch a YouTube channel. And guys, don't skimp on this one. And those of you in PPPM, if you want us to do some stuff around YouTube, let me know. Let me know. Type in the chat and we can add that to the programming. Okay. Number four. Number four is so good. You may not like it either. You're not going to like these things, but you will like the outcome. Okay. Number four, I would be prolific on social media. I'll be prolific on social media. Now, when I was actively seeing patients and actively involved in this process, I did Facebook. I did like the Facebook business page. I didn't have Dr. Una. I didn't have Dr. Una to tell me any better. So the thing with a Facebook business page is that it's paid to play. There's not really anything you can do to grow the page, grow the engagement and stuff like that. It's just not set up that way. It's set up so you can pay for ads. That's what it is. And so if I was doing it now, I would probably use Instagram, right? I would use Instagram because I can do the quick videos and all of those things and just build a following. Like every private practice, you already have a big, right? If you're an established practice, you have a big email list. I'll just tell them this is where I am, follow me. I'm going to show up, give value, stuff like that. But this is the deal. Okay. When I say prolific, okay, let me know in the chat if I said I would be prolific on social media and your heart skipped a beat. Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Tell me my heart skipped a beat. But again, I'm about simple. I'm not about complicated. I'm about simple. So what does this mean? It means if I'm doing it, this is what I would do. I would think once. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. So Dr. Akudo, you're already doing YouTube, so this will be so powerful for you. Okay. So follow along. Okay. I would think once. So what that means is, let's use this video I'm doing for example. I have come on and I'm talking about 5 things I would do to take my private practice from 0 to full schedule in 90 days. Okay. I'm giving 5 different points. I'm telling stories. I'm doing all of those things. So I will spend the time to create an outline and deliver. I'm thinking once. Okay. When I'm done with that, I will then take that video and break it down to different social media posts. I would break it down. I can clip it and take different video segments, right? And those become my reels. I can take sections of it and turn them into your text posts. I can take another section of it, take the transcript of it, put it in Claude.ai and turn it into a blog. Like, I'm not going to think like, oh, think for YouTube, think for Instagram, think for the post, think for the reel, no, I'm going to think once. And then from that one core piece of content, I will reproduce it. And people are like, you're everywhere. But not really. I'm just very strategic, right? That's what I would do. That's what I would do. So if I was starting over, there will be posts 1 to 2 times a day on Instagram. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm telling what I would do. If you do once a day, that's fine. But that's what I would do, right? And like if you have a team, I would then leverage the team, but you give them the if you some people are just like, I just want to get a marketing company so they can do all the things. A marketing company can't do all the things except you give them the thing to do all the things with. This is why I fight with people who are like, not physical fight, guys. I don't do that. Okay. I fight with people who are like, I just want a marketing team to make it go away. You don't know your message. You don't know what resonates with your people. You're like, I'm never going to do a video, so you don't give them anything to work with. You don't want to talk to them. They're like, I paid you, make me busy. It doesn't work that way. I've seen people throw away as much as $12,000 a month, and there's no way that marketing team could have given them the result because they weren't really willing to do the work. They weren't willing to do the work. Yeah. But if you can give them stuff to work with, my goodness, is that amazing or what? But I would be prolific on social media. And I will not be on social media talking about the things that are fascinating to me. I will be on social media talking about the things that are fascinating to them. What are the questions they're asking? What are they Googling? What in the news that's relevant to my practice? What do they care about? All of these things. I will talk about those things. I will make myself shareable. I will make myself shareable. What are their problems? I will talk about their problems all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. Right? So is that, or it can be as simple as, again, you answer the question in the room, you come out of the room, you turn your camera on, you answer it in 60 to 120 seconds. That is called a reel. Okay? You answering questions in 60 to 120 seconds with the camera on is called a reel. That's it. Don't make it complicated. I will be prolific on social media. I would pick Instagram or TikTok, one of those. I was not a TikToker, but I'll do Instagram. Okay. Okay. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Let's review what's going on here. Is this 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, or 5 star? Talk to Dr. Una. Let me know in the chat what's going on. What's going on. Which is it? Which is it? Which is it? 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, 5 star, 10 stars, Dr. Una. You are over delivering. 10 whole stars. That's what it is. Yeah? Okay. All right. Now for the final one. For the final one. Okay. Social media was something that really grew my practice. I would leverage it. If you notice, I haven't talked about no fluff here, and I haven't talked about getting a marketing team, right? These things are all simple. They're not easy. They're all simple. Can you build a referral base? Yes. Can you network strategically? Yes. Can you launch a YouTube channel? Yes. Can you be prolific on social media? You're a whole physician. All you have on the inside of you is knowledge and wisdom and experience and stories. And oh my goodness, you could never run out of content. Ever. You could never do it. You can try, you can never do it. Right? Okay. The final thing I would do is I would go for 5 to 10 Google reviews every day, every week. 5 to 10 Google reviews. 5 to 10 Google reviews. So in my practice, when I started my private practice, oh my goodness, I was scared of everything, people. I was scared of hiring, so I didn't hire anybody. I answered on my own phones. I worked up my own patients. I checked them in. I examined them as a physician. I gave them their vaccines afterwards. I sent the claims to the insurance company. Okay, that's how terrified I was of everything. I was terrified of marketing. So kind of like, again, let me know if you're my cousin. You've done this, okay? I would market to I would go to build a referral base, but it's just to fulfill our righteousness. So if somebody asked me, did you go to talk to OBGYNs? I would say yes. but I wasn't in it. You know what I mean? Like I was scared spitless. But anyway, so I started having patients come, and patients of their own free will. I didn't know. I didn't have Dr. Una to ask all these questions. They would write me reviews. And then so new patients will come in. I'm like, so how did you find out about us? They're like, oh, I read your reviews and decided you're the doctor for me. I was like, well, go figure. Right. And these were more of my ideal patients, right? It wasn't just that they were new patients, they were more ideal. And I was like, wait a minute, what is going on? And it was the reviews. It was the reviews. Okay. Then I shocked myself. And I went to I went to I went to the airport, and I love books. Like, you see what's happening behind me? Is happening beside me too. There's another shelf right there, right outside this door. There's another shelf like that. In my room, there's a shelf. Right across here, there's a shelf. In the basement, there's a wall-to-wall shelf. I like books. Okay, so I go to the airport, and I'm like, oh, like, I'm not going to buy any books. Okay, I have too many books, and I have a book that I'm traveling with. Like, I don't need books. Okay, so I walk past the bookstore. I'm like, but I cannot not go in the bookstore, right? So I go in the bookstore. Okay, so no suspense. Of course, I bought books, right? But anyway, so I get into the bookstore, and I start looking at the books. I'm like, oh my goodness. But let me tell you what I did. And it was subconscious. Later on, I found out. I was like, huh, that's interesting. I would pull the book from the shelf. I'd look at it. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. Then I would pull up the book on Amazon and then read the reviews. Then I'd pull another book. I'm like, ooh, this looks good. Then I'll go to Amazon, pull up the reviews. And of course, when you look at Amazon, you find, of course, it's much cheaper on Amazon and stuff like that. So I think at the end of the day, I stood there and ordered 5 books. And, I was like, I'm just going to pay for them on Amazon. It'll be home by the time I get there and stuff like that. But I was like, oh my goodness, their rent, like in the airport, the rent is so high and stuff like that. Like, I'm using them as a billboard to look at their stuff and then order on Amazon. So I bought 2 from them, right? Like, so I bought 2 from them and took with me, and then sent the rest to my home. But the point I wanted to make there is, I'm holding the physical book, but then I'm looking for social proof. I'm looking for evidence that this is worth my time. Like, I've looked at it, I think it's worth my time, but then I'm going to look at the reviews to say, what the other people who read it, what did they think? So when your patient refers somebody to you, what do you think they do? They Google you. They Google you, right? Okay, so they Google you. They may also look for you on social media. They may look for you on your website, but they look for you on your website. You have this whole YouTube thing going on, so they can binge you and all of this stuff. Like, when you build these assets, you're building this web. Like, when someone comes into your world, it's just like there's evidence after evidence after evidence after evidence that you're the person for the job. And they have so many things to share to other people, right? And so your reviews represent your online reputation. And this is the deal. If you are, what is the word I should use here? If you are not intentional about building your online reputation, it doesn't mean you won't have an online reputation. You have an online reputation, period. It's either a curated online reputation, or it is a default online reputation, but you will have an online reputation. The question is it intentional or not? Is it intentional, or did it just happen? And what happens when it's not intentional? The people who are do not need inspiration to leave Google reviews are the people who are mad. You made me mad. I'm going to go leave your review. But the other people don't say, you made me glad. I'm going to go leave your review. That's not the way it works. Those ones you're going to ask them. You're going to ask them. So what would I do? 5 to 10, and I would take 10. I'm saying 5, so you can do 5 if you want to. Okay. 5 to 10 new reviews per week. If I do that at the end of 52 weeks, I will have 520 reviews. If I have 520 reviews that I asked for, so chances are they're 4 and 5 stars, more 5 stars. If I have 500, like 5-star reviews, like, I just have this brand, like, you're this person, you've been around a while, you're credible, and that's the story that it tells, right? And so in that 90-day period, I have all these people who are finding the reviews and are coming because of the reviews. Okay. So again, let me recap this really quickly. Okay. Now, if you haven't already, I want to invite you to sign up for the movement. Okay. This is the no brainer. Do not think about it. Do not pass go. Just the answer you've been looking for as a private practice owner has been made available to you. It is the EntreMD movement, where we come together every single week to work on our practices, so we can have practices that are profitable, that give us time freedom, that give us financial freedom. Okay. So entremd.com/movement. The investment is less than a cappuccino a day. And we did that. That is our gift to the physician community, because we want to see private practices thrive. Okay. So what are the 5 things I would do? if I had a brand new practice and I wanted to take it from no patients to fully booked in 90 days, number one, I will build a 12 active referral sources, a base of 12 active referral sources. That's the very first thing I do. The second thing I do is that I would network strategically. Anywhere my potential clients or my potential referral sources are gathered, I will be there. Number three, I will launch a YouTube channel. I will show up there 1 to 3. I will show up 3, but let me give a range. So 1 to 3 times a week, I would show up, and I would not show up to entertain myself. I will show up to address the problems that my potential patients and my actual patients are facing. It will be a problem solver. It will be a gift. It's kind of like what I'm doing for you today. There are many things I'm fascinated by, but I'm not here to fascinate myself. I'm here to solve problems for you, right? Okay. Number four, I will be prolific on social media. I will show up every day. I personally will show up twice a day. Why? I want to get this place popping in 90 days. Okay. Number five, I will go after 5 to 10 Google reviews every single week. So at the end of the year, I have somewhere between 260 and 520 reviews. Okay. These are things that they are simple to do. They're not easy, but they're simple. And you're a physician, which means I know that you're not bound to easy. You memorize the Krebs cycle. You went to school for over a decade to have the privilege of taking care of people. Okay. You're not scared of hard, but this hard is different. The ROI on this hard, guys, let me tell you something. Okay. Building a profitable private practice in a way that gave me my time back and gave me financial freedom is one of the best things that I did, right? So I'm in a position where I control my time. I'm in a place where I have financial freedom. I am in a place where I homeschool my kids because I want to, all four of them. And they are ages 9 to 16, the four of them. I'm teaching them leadership. I'm teaching them business. I'm getting them grounded in faith. They're doing their academic stuff. They're about to start stuff with an AI institute, like all of this stuff, getting ready for the new world that they're going to live in. I get to do that. Okay. I get to mentor thousands of people, like thousands. And so I am in the center of what I think is the reason why I'm on the planet. I have the freedom and the purpose to do that because I took the time to build a profitable practice and not just a job, but a business asset that can work with me or without me. So I want to challenge you. Don't believe the lie you can't do this stuff. Don't believe the lie that um, you know, this is for other people, not for you. Don't be like, but I've never done a business before. But you've never been a doctor before until you became a doctor, right? Like you can do this. Your evolution is required, but you can do this. Okay. And if you're like, I would need some support with this, like really, let me know in the chat if you spent the next 90 days actively working on this. Is it worth it? Like, I can tell you the answer. The answer is yes. Like, it's 1,000% worth it because the return on investment is wild. Okay. And the stuff I'm talking about, again, I've done it. My clients have done it. We've seen result after result after result. It's just insane. Okay. So if you need support with it, entremd.com/movement. Okay. Come join us every Thursday. We get together, we work on our business, we push it forward. We push it forward because we are the vision boards. We are the ones who will show people what is possible. So many people can't see it. So many people accept the status quo as the norm. In the movement, we defy the status quo. We're like, forget that. We're not doing that. Like, no, we're not going to do it. Right. Okay. So that's what I have for you, but I want you to walk away with this picture. I want you to walk away with you having this brand that positions you as the option in your community. I want you to envision that everywhere, households everywhere, your name is being mentioned. Your name is a household name. And people are like, you need this, you go there. You need this, go watch that. Where you are a magnet for opportunities because people can see you, referral sources can see you, patients can see you, people see you online, people see. So you're a magnet for opportunities because you're doing good work and you can be seen, you're visible, right? And this puts you in a position where you have a practice, it's profitable, you are helping a lot of people, changing a lot of lives, you have financial freedom, you have time freedom, which is the hope. This is why we went to medical school, to help people. We went to medical school so we can help people and help them in bigger and bigger ways, right? And this is what makes that possible. So go sign up to join the movement. If this was helpful for you, wherever you're watching it from, just let us know in the chat the value that you got from it. If there are other topics you'd love me to come talk about, let me know in the comments and I'll come do those for you. But it was fun spending this hour with you. And I can't wait to get a DM from you or get a private message from you saying, oh my goodness, Dr. Una, you won't believe what happened. And I'll tell you, of course I will. Tell me. Okay. All right. Rooting for every single one of you. Go kill it. And I'll see you the next time.